50 beers on a Tuesday afternoon! 50 beers on a Tuesday afternoon! Fuck yeah!
What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 16 of 15 Beers on Tuesday afternoon. I think this is going to be the last one that we actually do in the afternoon. It seems like everyone's getting back to work and school and whatnot. So I think we're going to move it from starting at 4 to starting at either 5 or 6. Give everybody a little bit more time to tune in, but we got a good one today. We're going with a Let's Start a Cult theme. See if anyone ever guess have been in a cult. Later on, we have Lauren Jean, singer-songwriter from New Orleans. Heard her band Dirty Rotten Snake in the Grass just now. After that, we have my pal Paul Flans, physics teacher in the Queens. We'll see how schooling in New York City's going. He's also modifying some amps, so we'll talk to him about that too. We're going to start off with local video director, filmmaker Allyson Ferrara. And we're going to play a video that she just made for the Gold Hope Duo. Every time I try to play a video here, it turns into a shit show, but this time will be different, so we'll see how this goes. This is No Time to Be Bored. It's off the new Gold Hope Duo Quarantine album. And there's probably an easier way for me to do this, but I don't know how it is, so we're going to unplug this from a phone. We're going to plug it into the computer here. It's going to make a crazy noise. Wait for it. There it is. I think there's one more, too. We'll get that out of the way before we put the video on. Come on. There's that one. All right, and then here's the Gold Hope Duo's new video. Hope you like it. So there you have the Gold Hope duo, No Time to Get Bored, directed by Allyson Ferrara, and we're gonna give her a call right now. We'll talk about that. That was the special Bong Hit edition as well. Apparently, the version that she's gonna send to New York Governor Andrew Cuomo is not gonna have the Bong Hit in it.
Hi, Kev.
Hey, what's up, bud?
How's it going?
Pretty good. How you doing?
Pretty good.
We just watched the Gold Hope duo video that you just made.
Cute. What'd you think?
It was fantastic. I mean, I was there for some of it, and then I've seen, I think, the rough cuts that you sent. I don't know. I think that might be the first time I've seen the finished version of it. But I think it came out great. It looks terrific.
Awesome. Yeah, it was a ton of fun to make. Good time.
When I messaged her, I guess there's two versions, one with her taking the bong hit and one without. And when I
one with the bong and one family friendly.
I asked her which one to use, and she said definitely the bong hit one. That the other one is to send to Andrew Cuomo, or for any other family friendly things. Which, I don't know, maybe that she should get into the activism, maybe, push the legalizing weed in New York State by sending the governor the bong hit one.
I 100% agree. I'm down with that. Larry, if you're listening.
I think she is. Because when I first played it, I'm shitty at this podcast thing. So when I first played it, I had started the first half without sound, so I had to redo it over again. And she was one of the first people to be like, "There's no sound." So I know she's.
They bought me a little more time,
So, is this the latest thing that you've worked on, or have you been doing?
Yeah. This is the latest thing that I've shot and completed at least. Got another short film that's in the can as far as being shot. We're just doing some audio work on it. But yeah, this is the latest greatest thing.
Nice. Has this been a busy time for you doing stuff during this, or like this? Did this like interrupt a lot of projects that you were gonna work on? This whole like the social distancing and the quarantine stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely been a little bit of a disruption in that I do the New Paltz Film Festival, and we've kind of had to reorient our game plan on that, and are sort of working things out with that.
Yeah.
As far as production stuff, I've done a couple fun things, personal projects with friends, some photo stuff, but not so much video. What was that?
You can't do anything like super big, like a bunch of people kind of thing, right?
Yeah, no 20 people in Snugs at 4 a.m. right now.
Oh yeah, the Red Necromancer video. Yeah, that was a good one.
But
the film festival, that was supposed to be the second. This was supposed to be the second year of it, and it was supposed to be. I think I actually have a screen with a flyer for it up here. It was supposed to be the second one, and it was supposed to be in September, right?
This was supposed to be the third one, actually.
Okay.
But it was going to be our second year, potentially doing it at the same place we did last year, which was an indoor theater.
Okay.
So that's, obviously not happening now. Our original intention before pandemic was to have it at the end of September. But now I think we're trying to just reorganize, maybe shoot for doing something in April.
Okay.
That we want to, have the plans to do that in an outdoor venue or drive-through in case things are still how they are. I think buy ourselves a little bit more time, give some people the chance to submit and decide whether, I would love to do it in person again, with a bunch of people gathering around, as long as that's safe, but I also don't want the project to die. So worst comes to worst, we might look at some online options instead of in-person kind of screenings.
Gotcha. Is there a reason why you didn't try to do an online thing for this fall, just swoop in and kind of do it like that? Is that more work, or do you think it loses the feel that you're going for?
I think for my idea for the project is definitely community-oriented, and I like that ability for a bunch of different filmmakers and community members to get together, enjoy that experience of watching films in the theater together, having that chance to meet up afterwards and discuss. So I think bringing it online is going to lose all of that, or a lot of that. So I would, hope to do it again in an in-person kind of way. But at the same time, I think, just trying to keep that ability of community filmmakers together. If it's not possible in person, then I'd rather do it online than not at all. So right now we're kind of putting our heads together for that, and hopefully by giving ourselves to around April or so, be able to do it in one way or another and do it the right way. I think if we had tried to do it online so soon, it would have been a little too jumbled and not as successful as I'm hoping for.
I would hope that by April you're able to do some kind of at least outdoor kind of thing,
Fingers crossed, miss seeing people in person. Love the two friends I hang out with, but I'm getting tired of them. Just kidding.
Is Danny Assis one of them?
Yeah.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time in a 3-person group with Danny Assis, and he can be a little much. No, I'm just kidding.
I would talk more shit about him, but he's in the next room right now. So.
Oh, that's the best way to do it, I think. So I guess I missed the film festival last year. I think I was at the one that you did at the Water Street Market. That was the first one?
Yeah, that was the first year.
Okay. And that was outdoors, but that was like a little too cramped probably for these quarantine years.
Yeah, that was at the Water Street Market in New Paltz, and it was really great. It was a blast. We had a huge crowd. We filled the entire seating area plus the two parking lots. And our second year we did at Studley Theater, which was on the SUNY New Paltz campus, which was also like a very, very successful. And, that was a lot more promotion, word of mouth stuff as opposed to Water Street Market, which kind of had this built-in audience already because they do a summer movie night, and we tied in with that. But I'm hoping that, even last year, met a bunch of filmmakers that I didn't know before, met a bunch of community members that weren't at the first one. So I'm hoping that we picked up a little steam with that and can still hold on to that for when we do the third year.
Yeah, it's a great thing to bring people with that are kind of working on similar things together. It's an awesome way to.
Totally, I think even myself as a filmmaker, one of my goals for that project was just to sort of create a space where it doesn't matter what stage of your career you're in, whether you're a new filmmaker or more professional. Just a chance to submit your work and share your work, and part of our mission for that is that I always want it to be free to attend and free to submit to. Because even myself as a filmmaker, considering submitting to some film festivals where there's even if it's a $20, $50 entrance fee for the chance to get in, some points in my life I've been too broke to put that much money into the gamble of maybe not. So at least for this project, I hope that we can always keep that sort of spirit of doesn't matter who you are or where you're at, if this is your passion, you at least have a chance to be a part of it. If not in the festival, definitely in the audience.
That's great. Yeah, like a more inclusive kind of thing. Are there a lot of film festivals are like that though? You have to pay a certain amount to get into them?
Yeah, there's definitely, I'm sure there's other free ones out there, but typically there's a submission fee that you have to pay, and typically if you're not a filmmaker that's gotten into the film festival, there's an entrance fee, to go to the film. So, my goal for this is, it'd be lovely to have it be self-sustaining financially. But if, for us, I think if we want to make any money off of it and doing that and having it run itself instead of out of pocket, do it through advertising and local businesses, which was really great last year. We had a lot of amazing sponsors that helped support us, helped us get it running. So I'm hoping, for the future that we can have that same kind of thing where there's just other passionate, creative people or people that support the arts that believe in our mission as well and are willing to help us fund it.
That's great. I like that idea. Because it seems like, if everyone's paying a submission fee, I'm sure there's some film, it's like if it's the same as any like band kind of thing, it's like certain bands are going to get on the festival whether they submit or not. You know, I'm sure the big film festival, some films are going to get in whether or not. So, you know, your chance to, you know, having it be more democratic and more everyone just inclusive, I think is cool.
It was really amazing. The first year, I think we had, I want to say it was like 30 or so filmmakers submit, and then second year, we had over 90, maybe 100 filmmakers submit. And that was all just sort of like promoting on our own like Facebooks and Instagrams, hanging flyers, not really even pushing too hard with advertising. So I think, you know, next year I just want to go bigger and with that promotional side of things to get the word out more and hopefully grow our community even larger than, you know, the previous years.
And most of the stuff you're showing are like short films, right?
Yeah, right now, for the last 2 years, I think our max time was 20 minutes because we do about a 2.5 hour time slot, so we wanted to give enough time to show, you know, a couple different filmmakers' films. My goal for this year, I'm not sure if I'm going to still continue with that, was that either do like a multi-day event so we could show a feature a night plus a couple short films. I also really would love to do a separate morning or early evening, a kids film festival section of it. Because, you know, I started making movies when I was really young, and that was always really exciting to see your stuff on a big screen. And then I was lucky enough last year to teach a kids filmmaking class at Unison, and that was amazing. Like, it was so great working with all these kids who are way more creative and talented than I am, and, you know, it might take me a year, 3 years to write something down, and these kids were conceptualizing an idea in 45 minutes and then rolling with it. So I would love to do some sort of, you know, kids elements where younger filmmakers get the chance to show their work to an audience in a theater.
That's awesome. So 90 submissions last year, and like, so most of them are at least a couple minutes long. You're doing 2.5 hours. Like, how many actual things did you show last year with 90 submissions?
So, well, last year we had 90 plus filmmakers submit that were allowed to submit up to 2 films each. So we probably had about 130, 140 submissions.
More.
And we ended up showing, I think, only 12 last year out of all the ones we got. Which is always a really fun part, like watching all the films. And then the really hard part is watching a bunch of really great films and only being able to pick, you know, a dozen of them.
And so do you have like a board of people that you're working with this? Like, it seems like it's hard to, like, it'd be hard to filter the stuff out, you know?
Yeah, we have a board right now. Last year, I think our board was 6 people. So I would always love to grow that. I think one of our goals is to move it into being a nonprofit, just to legitimize it a little bit more, have an easier time finding sponsors and spaces and insurance and all that, like business side of stuff. Right now, I'd say we have definitely three people kind of head of the board, and then last year we had 3 or 4 other people that I still think are committed to this year. But I think if we're going to move into like a nonprofit area, just find some solid players that are down to follow this for as long as it's able to go. Right
on. That's awesome. You said you got into filmmaking young. Like, what drew you into, like, how'd you get started?
I got my first camera, when I was like maybe 7 or 8 years old as a Christmas present for my parents, and started making like silly little animations by myself. And then, my friends saw that I was making movies and they wanted to make movies. And then I had a crew of a couple really, close friends, including my best friend Stephanie, that, whenever we hang out, we just make silly little films. And I think my interest in film has always come from just loving movies. My dad was a big movie guy. He used to own a Laserdisc store. He and the rest of my family were always, old school, he owned the Laserdisc store. So grew up with 1,000 different Laserdiscs in the house because he went out of business post Blockbuster, but kept all the movies.
Well, because that was a really small era, that the Laserdisc. Those were the big fuckers, right? Like the size of the vinyl. Is that?
Yeah, the LPs of cinema, you know.
And you had to switch them, I think, halfway through for like longer movies, right?
Yeah, that was always a fight between me and my brother. And after that, we were watching Aliens or Terminator 2, which was 2 discs, which means you had to flip it 4 times, I think.
Oh, Jesus.
But better quality than a DVD. It's true.
That's such a funny time, like, you know, between VHS and a DVD, like, you know, where that was the thing for such a brief amount of time.
I'm still a Laserdisc fan, you know. Still got a Laserdisc player in my house, so.
Yeah, you still watch that?
But occasionally, I mean, it's definitely easier to like turn on, you know, Amazon Prime or Netflix. But if that retro feel calls, maybe I'll flip on a Laserdisc.
As someone that like makes movies, is there like a quality drop off in watching stuff on like Netflix? You know, is there like I don't know, like that compared to seeing things in a movie theater, or you know how people used to have bigger home theaters, now you're kind of like watching stuff on a laptop. Does that affect like how you experience movies?
I mean, I don't mind doing either. I think it's a different experience for sure.
Yeah.
You know, I can't remember who said it, but I'm not sure who I'm quoting, but I am quoting someone else in, you know, talking about the experience of seeing a film in a theater, kind of being like a dream. You know, you're like sitting in this dark room, watching something that's coming out in front of you that you don't know what's going to happen. You can't stop it, and you kind of just have to go along for the ride. And you know, I think that experience of being in a theater is very different than being at home or watching something on my TV or my laptop or whatever.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do love the experience of going to a theater. I don't mind going with friends. I have no problem going by myself. And there's just a different, you know, element to watching a movie that way than watching a movie at home. But if it's a good movie, I don't care how I'm watching it. Just hopefully not on my phone. That's one thing I can't do.
Yeah, I can imagine that's annoying. Have you been to the drive-in yet this summer?
No, I haven't been to the drive-in yet.
Because I feel like they've been doing all like retro, you know, like Aliens, and they've been showing all like older classics rather than newer films. It seems like.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Yeah, I saw that. I think Hyde Park Drive-In was doing like a Jaws. I forgot what the double feature was. I was working, but I would have absolutely went to that if it was available.
But like E.T. and Close Encounters of the Third Kind, I think they could show those two together.
Mm-hmm.
The Thing.
I think it was Jaws and Tremors.
Oh, nice. That's great. Yeah, I think it was like fucking They Live and The Thing they were showing together. There's a bunch of like cool pairings that they're doing together. You also do a bunch of music videos. How does that compare to like the film stuff that you do?
How does that compare to what?
Like did you always intend to get into that, or is that kind of a side product of like, oh, you do these films and then bands just happen to ask you to do videos? I know you've done a bunch now, but like when you first started, did you intend to get into doing music videos? Was that like
no, it wasn't really an intention. I think I started doing music videos. I did a couple I used to work at place Palmer Road in New Paltz, and the boss, one of my owners, was a singer-songwriter. So I had first moved up here. He heard I did video stuff. You know, he was a music guy, and we did a couple videos together, and that was a lot of fun.
Nice.
Did a couple more for this artist that I had met through other people that was a fun experience. Wasn't necessarily, my type of music. Took a break for probably like 5, 6, 7 years from doing music videos until somebody mentioned that Red Necromancer was looking for a video.
We get back into it. Nice.
Man, that was great. That totally kicked me off doing more music videos, and I feel like I've done since doing that first one with you guys, I've probably done more music videos than like narrative shorts. And that's a great experience because I think prior to that, wasn't really a big collaborator. Was definitely
you had like an idea, and that's what you would want done, kind of.
Yeah, especially, I think for, like, narrative stuff, it's like, I'll, like, sit and daydream about something for so long until I know exactly what it looks like, and then I know exactly what I want it to be.
Yeah.
But I think what's been really great about doing the music video experience is that, it's like, I have to collaborate with other people because it's not my art that I'm representing, it's somebody else's art that, is looking for a visual component to it. And that's been great. That's been a ton of fun with all the bands I've worked with recently, doing music videos. And I think there's like a just like faster pace to it, and that, you know, if I'm making something for myself or doing a narrative short, I have all the time in the world because there's no deadline for it. Where, you know, music video, most bands are looking to put it out around a certain time or drop it, you know, close to their album release or something like that.
Yeah.
So then there's that added, and for me, I love pressure. It's like the more pressure there is, I feel like the faster thinking I am on my feet, the more creative I tend to be. Just because I think for me that pressure really feeds into feeding me ideas.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed that part of the process, you know, and even this video that just did with the Gold Hope duo, you know, Lara reached out to me saying that they had, you know, the songs they wanted to do during quarantine, and, you know, sent me the song and the lyrics, and, you know, had the idea like, oh, I'd love to shoot something that kind of is just representing all the stuff that's going on. I sat down for lunch one day, talked about what we were going to do. I feel like it was probably one of the quickest videos that I jumped into. Usually I like the time to storyboard or do a shot list, and like I had a little bit of time to do that, but you know, then we just met up at our house and kind of used the lyrics as our playbook, and you know, I think it came out really great for me feeling a little nervous that I wish I had more time to prepare, but once we started doing it, I think it was really easy to just shoot it all in. We shot 2 days, you know, a couple hours each day.
You got it done so quick, it seemed like. Yeah. It was like, what, two sessions, right? Like 2, 3?
Yeah, we did two sessions of shooting. And first day we shot, you know, I made them do a lot of live performance stuff that, you know, didn't even make it into the video. I think we shot like 3 different locations of them just playing the song. Ended up just using one of them, and then Lara has Matt have a gorgeous house, and made it really easy to make it aesthetically pleasing and silly and fun to just sort of have all these silly things that you might be doing in quarantine acted out.
Yeah, that song is good too, because it kind of like the storyboard is the lyrics to an extent, where you just have to figure out which ones you don't want to do almost, you know, like there's not time to get a shot for every thing she says, so you almost have to figure out, you know, which ones you want to do.
Totally, yeah. You know, and I think we hit a lot of the things, but that was also like one of our concerns is that, okay, like this is happening so quickly, there's no way that we're going to get every single line represented, so then you just pick the ones that are going to play the best on camera. I
really like some of the like walking through, you know, where Matt's walking through, where Lara comes up, and then the Tupperware one where Lara is coming forward. And then the top, you know,
that's my favorite shot. That's my favorite shot in the whole thing.
There's one where the roommate one. I hope your roommates get along. I hope you get along. Where Matt walks by and they have that look. That's a good one too. Where he's walking through. Is that weird? Like, say you have an idea for a like short film that you want to make. You have the idea in your head. How do you find the people that you want to act it out for you?
I think that's changed a bit in the past for me. You know, I think in the past there used to be, I would have an idea, not necessarily maybe like a face representing who the character was, but then the more I sat with it, someone would kind of come to mind, and then that person would kind of be the player in this like fantasy that I was creating in my mind, and then reach out to them, and if they weren't down, find someone else. You know, I think the last like year or two, you know, I've been lucky enough to be working with Danny, and I think Danny's been like the on-screen person for most of the things I've been shooting, which has been really great because I think we have a very similar mind in what we're trying to do, what we want to do. And I like being behind the camera, and he likes being in front of the camera. Nice. So that always works out well. And then he also composes, so makes the whole production kind of easy.
That's great. Nice. You know that I was in a band with him for like 12 years, and we had one music video that someone else did for us, but none that were made by him.
Well, what are you guys doing this week, huh?
I don't know about Tiger Fist videos anymore. I think that ship has sailed. That's another thing. It's like watching that Gold Hope video. Like Lara is such a ham. Lara and Matt both are like pretty good actors. And I know when you worked with us, like we did Mal songs where he's really good at that. Like, when you're doing music videos, is it hard sometimes to get the band when you don't have, you know, or has everyone you worked with had like a ham like that in a band that like is pretty good at acting, or is it more like director intensive with bands sometimes because you have to, they're the ones that wrote the song, but they might not be comfortable acting out the scenes per se.
I think I've looked at least in the last year or two with the music videos I've worked on that either the band members that, the people that are in the band that want to be on screen happen to be super charismatic in front of the camera. Like Mal was fantastic.
Yeah.
Lara lit it up. And I worked with a couple other bands. I worked with this other band, RBNX, who were fantastic and great, but knew that they were not the guys to be on camera. So found a couple of our goofy friends that were willing to be on camera and were fantastic and played really well.
So
and I haven't had that experience.
You kind of had someone else play out the story instead of the band because they weren't like comfortable being on camera. Is that what
exactly? Yeah. That one band, was very much into the idea of hiring other actors to be in the video for them, and they were happy like doing the performance side of it, and that one video for this band was sort of about two just like party dudes that are late to a show and have to find their way there, and then they get to the show, and the band themselves is then on camera playing, but the action and the acting is from those guys.
Nice.
But I haven't yet worked with a band who's wanted to be in the video and
but hasn't
been successful.
Yeah, like I think I made a good swamp monster, but I don't know. I don't think I could have done what Mal did. Like I feel like Mal in that Loaded Gun did a pretty
yeah, but you killed Swamp Zombie, Kevin. You nailed that role. So
yeah, I think.
Also, I walked by.
You what?
I walked by that pond the other day, and it is disgusting.
Yeah.
Kudos to you for sticking your feet in there.
Yeah.
I'm glad you didn't submerge.
Like I said, the snakes are like the one thing that scares me. So as long as if I would have seen a snake, I wouldn't have been able to do it. But I've probably been submerged in something worse than that. Maybe. And Jim too. Like I don't think of Jim as much of an actor, but he crushed it as the police zombie.
Oh my God, yeah, he was fantastic, especially there's that one scene where him and Mal are spinning around with the shotgun and just hamming it up. Yeah, you guys are all great.
And he wasn't as much of a coward with the contact lenses,
You guys were, all big sports, getting up at 4 in the morning, letting me put peroxide in your eye by accident,
Yeah, I don't know. That was... The contact lenses, I think, was the hardest part for me. Sitting in that swamp was much easier than the contact lenses.
I think the best part about the contact lenses was that it was essentially the color of your eye, so you probably could have got away with not wearing them at all. But I'm glad you were committed.
I don't even want to hear that now. So this is the cult episode. Have you ever been in a cult?
I've never been in a cult. I don't think I'm susceptible to being in a cult. But I also am.
I think that's what everyone thinks.
Fangirl that I know. So yeah, if it was the right leader, maybe. I think I'd be better off running a cult. I think I've got enough charm to do that.
I was thinking about that. You said that in your text, and there aren't a lot of female cult leaders. I don't know if I can't think of any. There's got to be some at some point, right?
Soon, maybe. I don't know. You want to join my cult?
Maybe. I mean, I wonder how like a female-led cult, like what the differences would be between that and a male cult.
I probably don't make you drink any Kool-Aid. Maybe just some gin, a couple Gimlets or something.
No mass suicides. Well, I mean, the mass suicide I think happened because they were like kind of cornered in wherever it was, at Ghana or wherever they were. Like
I might skip the mass suicide in my cult, but we'll have a great time. I promise.
Well, that's whatever. I mean, see, you're doing good because I think that's what everyone A good cult leader promises everyone it's going to be a good time, and next thing you know,
I guarantee it.
You guarantee it. I don't know if you're listening to like the last podcast on the left or anything like that, but they did an episode on Jim Jones, and early on, like he was very like important as far as like racial integration in like the Midwest before he went a full on like methamphetamine cult leader. But I think he integrated like grocery stores in these like poorer neighborhoods, and he did like a lot of good work for like racial justice early on. But
why do you think I'm doing the New Paltz Film Festival? I'm
is
trying to
that
get
it?
the community in on it, the kids in on it.
There you go.
Just kidding.
And where does I can see Danny as like like the kind of vice president of a cult. Like I think I could see him like is like a good cult helper, you know.
He's a good listener, so you know.
There you go.
And he's charming as well, so I'm sure he can help us get members.
Yeah. So what's the next thing you're working on?
The next thing I'm working on, well, I want to finish up the one thing that I have in post-production right now for sure. And then I have a couple people that have reached out recently that want to do a couple music videos. So I just got to get back to them and see what they're looking at, or, what they're trying to do, and especially just in the times that are happening now. I think for me, I'm willing to do smaller productions, something I did with Lara where it's just a couple people, socially distanced away. So that as far as like maybe more professional for other people, but then for myself, I'm trying to think of, I got a couple ideas right now that I'm kind of spinning around in my brain. Hopefully maybe just do like a 5 to 10 minute narrative with a smaller crew, maybe something that's gonna be more outdoorsy. I've got like a couple woods ideas that I'm working out. But I just want to try to keep active, and when I'm not doing video, I've been lucky enough to be doing like some photos for people and things like that. So as long as I'm behind the lens, I'm feeling productive.
That's great. I have a love song for a dog that I might need a video for. And I think it would be mostly like dog walking. I have a picture of the video of me on the screen now and a picture of you and Dean on the screen right now. So
the only thing I love more than videos, Dad, is dogs. So let me know.
Yeah, I'm wondering how. I'm trying to picture how like Una or a bunch of these other dogs would react if someone was like walking in front of them with a camera. I feel like we might need to trick them somehow, like some kind of zoom lens from across the street or something.
Well, I worked with my first dog actor this past summer in that video that we're finishing up now. Rosie, she was great. Shout out to her mom and dad, Pete and Dominique. But she maybe she's just like a very, very good dog. But she was a fantastic actress. Did a great job. Was super easy to work with for a lot of it. But then when we had to do close-ups, was a little bit more difficult because they want to come up and give you kisses and don't understand cut and action as well as humans do.
I just heard Lara just had that read somewhere about like trimming the dog's nails, which I've never done myself. But what you do is you get saran wrap and wrap it around your forehead and put peanut butter on the saran wrap, and the dog licks that. The dog just sits there and like basically with his paws in your hands and licks the peanut butter, and is so distracted that you just snip away with the
Yeah, I'm not above it. I'm all about the DIY budget productions. Doing it how you can, whatever way you can. So I'll take some saran wrap and put peanut butter on my head if that's how it has to go.
Awesome. Well, it was great talking to you.
Yeah, you too. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, right on. And I love the Gold Hope video, and I can't wait to see what you do next.
Let me know when you want to hang out with some dogs and a camera.
I will. I think fall is going to be a good season for that. We'll get some nice.
I'll do that video for you if you join my cult.
Okay, done. and then your cult will already have a shitty podcast. This can be where we rope more fucking idiots into the more followers into the fold.
Perfect.
All right, Allie.
All right, guys, have a good one. Next talking with you.
You too. Later.
Bye.
All right, that was Allyson Ferrara. That was a fun one. New Paltz filmmaker extraordinaire. We got Lauren Jean, singer-songwriter from New Orleans, coming up next. We'll listen to one of her songs on a break. If you're listening to this on the podcast sites, then you won't hear the song. But I think I'm going to leave the Gold Hope video in for the YouTube and the audio podcast, and we'll see if I get flagged for any copyright infringements for that. Hopefully not. But here's a song called Bender from Dirty Rotten Snake in the Grass. And I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll call Lauren Jean.
$15 beers on a Tuesday afternoon. That sounds about right. That sounds metal as fuck.
15 beers on Tuesday afternoon is a Crazy Rev Kev production.